All right, guys, where we going?
Disneyworld!
Where you going, man?
Disney!
You sure?
Yeah!
Where you going?
Disneyworld!
Sure.
Yeah, we're going to Disney!
Y'all might be going to El Segundo for all you know.
Hi.
Where you going to?
Disneyworld.
Disneyworld!
Where you going?
Boca Raton. Oh, I'm sorry. Disney.
Ain't that about nothing, please?
Hi, my name's Jariah, and we're going to Disneyworld! But first, we have to go to a house.
Oh boy.
Wow.
We're going to the...
Hello and welcome to another episode of Orlando Family Fun. It's your man here, Mel. And I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in today. Please, if you have not done it yet, hit our subscribe button, subscribe to our channel. We love to grow this thing to as big as we can. Everybody here's a family, so we want our family to be as big as possible. Also hit the like button because that thing really helps us out. And hit the bell notification button so the next bit that we bring out, you'll be first in line to get it. Today we're going to talk about what else our favorite subject in the whole world, which is Orlando and the theme parks in Orlando. In particular, today we're going to talk about Disney World and some of the things you might want to do while you plan to go to Disney World. If you are new to going to Disney, this is your first time going, first thing you probably want to do is download the Disney app. That app would pretty much tell you everything you need to know. You can order food. You can reserve rides. You can find out wait times. Just about everything you want to do, you can do on the Disney app. So definitely familiarize yourself with that. Next thing I would tell you want to do, if you know the time of the year that you're going, go ahead and start buying your park tickets for it. Disney has a thing where you have to reserve your days. And depending on what time of year, it could be very busy there, which means the day that you want to go, you may not be able to get into. Usually you don't have too much a problem with that, except Magic Kingdom, possibly Hollywood Studios on holidays, and maybe on the weekends, very busy times of the year, like Christmas, summer, spring break. Any times that there may be a 3-day holiday, it can get extremely busy at those parks. So definitely want to check that out. When you buy your ticket, before you buy your ticket actually, make sure that day is open. When you go to the My Disney app, it will have the day is green, then that day is open. So take a look at that. Next thing I would say you want to do is you want to find a hotel. If you're not got a hotel yet, depending on how big your family is, Disney property is always great. Obviously, there's a lot of perks to Disney property. Mainly is that you can have extra hours in the park, which is always nice. Obviously, you're close to Disney. Disney used to have a thing we had to pay for parking there, but they don't do it anymore. So now it's free to park. You don't have that luxury if you're going in from an outside hotel and you have to drive in the park. You have to pay for parking. So that kind of helps with the expenses. Now, Disney hotels are more expensive than other places. For instance, you can stay in one of the moderately priced hotels. It's probably the same price as a 5-star hotel that's in Orlando or Kissimmee or something. So, you kind of give one area, but you're going to kind of take it from another area. So you can kind of figure that out. Now, like I said, Disney Hotel does have its perks. I mean, you got character dining. You have obviously the theming. You're at Disney all the time, so you're constantly immersed in Disney. Again, really, if you all you're going to do is at Disney, you're not going anywhere else. You're not going to do Universal, not going to do SeaWorld. Don't particularly plan on exploring the Orlando or Kissimmee area. Then everything there is Disney. They got transportation everywhere. You can get transportation to each park. They have monorails. They have Skyliners. They have buses. They have even little mini vans, which are actually little vans that are dressed up as mini with the polka dots on it. So those are things that you can always do. Also, you know, you can just walk to places. A lot of the hotels are kind of close to the parks. You can walk to the parks, so you can walk to hotels. So it is an advantage to staying on Disney. Again, it used to have a Magical Express that ran from the airport, Orlando International Airport, to Disney. That was free. Now it's not. You have to pick up a trolley or tram from Mears. I think for a round trip for an adult, it's around $79, somewhere around there. But that's one thing to investigate. If you stay off Disney property, again, you can stay in a very nice place, but you have to pay for parking when you go to the parks. But really, that's not too bad. It's about $27 to park. So, you know, just something to budget you into. Depending on how many parks you go into, it's an extra $100-some-odd. It's still cheaper than staying on the property. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it. If you want to be immersed in Disney, stay at Disney. If that really doesn't matter, especially if you plan on being at the parks all the time, you're not going to really use your room a lot, stay somewhere that's a little more inexpensive. I would say for us, when we go, we stay at a house because we have a big family. So we stay at a 4-5 bedroom house. It kind of allows us to spread out, even though we're at the parks all the time. There's some days when we don't do anything, and so it's kind of nice to be able to have that space. I have young kids that range from 7 years old. Well, I'm sorry, it was 7 when we first started staying. He's 9 now, and he has a 10-year-old. We have a 10-year-old daughter, and we also have teenagers. My middle daughter's 17, my oldest daughter's 25. So a vast gamut of ages, and it's easy for people to get on top of each other. And my 9-year-old, he's all over the place. My 10-year-old daughter can be all over the place. So you definitely want spaces for them to be able to play without bothering everybody else. So the house is good for us. Past that, you want to talk about your transportation to Orlando. Are you going to fly, take a train, you're driving? How are you going to get there? Obviously, flying is probably the most popular way, or probably second is driving. Driving is obviously cheaper. Outside of putting the wear and tear on your vehicle, all you pay for is really gas, and you know obviously it takes time to get there. So, you know, if you come from LA, California, you may not want to drive in Orlando, Florida, but if you got the time to do it, you don't mind, want to sightsee. I actually love driving. It allows me to kind of spend time with the family that I don't normally get. Not to mention, we get to see some sights. We stop at places that we go to Atlanta. We stopped in Memphis, Nashville. So we got to see some cities that we probably never would have went to. We went to New Orleans one year, so it just kind of depends on the route you take. But again, it takes your time, but it's all what you want to do. You know, it's cheaper to drive than it is to fly. Not to mention, if you fly, you probably have to rent a car. Especially if you're going to go to different places outside of Disney, you definitely want to rent a car. You don't want to do Uber; it's too expensive. Even an Uber from the airport to a hotel can be expensive. So, if you're able to, rent your car. Our next thing is what to pack when you go to Disney. Now I have a packing video, so I will refer you to that video. I will leave a link to it. If not, just for an Orlando family fun. Look at all the videos, but you definitely see a video on what to pack. But just for this brief interview, I would say pack something light if you're going in the summertime, because it is hot and it's humid. It is the rainy season in the summertime, so it's very humid and it's going to rain every day. So make sure you pack a poncho. I would say get a poncho from Walgreens, from Walmart. If you get one down there in Orlando, they will have Disney characters on them. They also have little shops, little souvenir shops that you can get those from. They have Mickey Mouse on them. They have whatever you want on them. So it looks like you got it from Disney, but you saved about $10 in them. So if you want to get one while you're at home, you can do that. It probably costs the same as at a Walmart or Walgreens down there in Orlando. So it's up to you. And again, I would say pack a long sleeve shirt even in the summertime, because there could be a cold front that comes through, being hurricane season again. And the temperatures will drop into the 60s and 70s, just like that. So definitely take you something that's kind of long sleeve. In the wintertime, it is winter. But winter in Orlando is a little different than winter and everywhere else. It could still be 80 degrees easily. It could be 90 degrees easily. It could also drop down to 40 degrees easily. So just be weather alert when you get ready to travel. I would say definitely a week before you leave, try to look at your weather maps as close as possible, because the weather there can change very instantly. And again, in the wintertime, it can get cold, it can get hot. So just be prepared. What I would also say, what I like to do is I take something that's kind of light. We usually go in the summertime, so it's hot. We ride a lot of water rides. So you want to be prepared for something that's going to dry easily and dry quickly. It's not any fun to wear denim shorts or anything and they're wet, because they don't dry quickly and they're heavy. I wear basketball shorts or something that's very thin that'll dry quickly. Shoes, make sure you take some comfortable shoes. Do not get shoes the day, a week before. Get shoes a few months before and kind of wear them out, so that when you get there, they're comfortable. You don't want to be surprised with some uncomfortable shoes while you're trying to walk around the park. Flip-flops, I've seen people do it. I wouldn't do it because you can lose them on a ride. And it's nothing more embarrassing than having to go try to find a shoe after the ride is over with. So last thing I think I would say, again, you want to make sure you have the My Disney app. You're going to use that while you're in the park. Because you're using that app, it's going to drain your battery on your phone. You can rent little battery chargers while you're there, or you can buy one while you're at home and take it with you. I would buy a couple, and that way you know that you have battery life all the time. Next, I would say on your trip to Orlando, if you have kids, make sure you include them on all your plans. Know that every ride is not for every kid. Some rides are dark, some are scary, some are kind of big, have drops in them. Some of them, they have things kind of jump out at you. So just kind of know your kid. Also, a lot of them have height requirements. So make sure you check out the My Disney Experience. It has what the height requirements are on each ride. Make sure your kid is able to pass that height requirement, because Disney kids, they will not let the kids in there. Their height requirements are there for a reason. It's for safety. So they're not going to let your kid on it even if it's 37 and a half inches and it's 38 inches to ride the ride. I know because my son tried to ride one at Universal, the Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Ratch barge. His head was just a hair under the thing. They wouldn't let him ride. So he was disappointed. He cried, and we felt sorry for him. And I don't understand why they wouldn't, but hey, it is safety reasons, and you got to respect that. So know before you go what rides your kids will be able to ride, so they're not hoping they're going to be able to ride Splash, Big Thunder Mountain or Space Mountain, and they come up there, they're not tall enough. So let them know what to expect. You know what to expect, and that kind of prevent a lot of heartaches later. If you can, also communicate with your kids about eating. Eating in the Disney is very expensive. What we do is we have one meal at a Disney park, and then the rest of the meals, the dinner usually is outside the park. We usually eat breakfast outside the park. That way we don't have to pay for just one meal. For a family like mine, it takes around $160, $170 for a meal for burgers and chicken nuggets. And do that 2 or 3 times a day. So I would definitely say, if it's up to you, if that's what you want to do, you can. Disney just doesn't serve hamburgers and chicken nuggets. They have some very nice menus there, very nice restaurants, sit-down restaurants. So you can explore if that's what you like to do. If you're a foodie, you're going to be in heaven. They have everything from churros and Mickey bars to steaks, very exotic meals, especially if you go to Animal Kingdom, in the Africa section, you're going to get some very exotic foods. So in Epcot, World Showcase, exotic foods all around the World Showcase, from Morocco to China to Japan, Germany, France, England, Italy. It's great. You will love it. So, but again, know before you go. Kind of find out what kind of foods you want. One thing you can't do at Disney is you can take foods into the park, as long as it has to be microwaved or chilled or anything like that, or cooked. You can take sandwiches. You can take snacks, beef jerky, peanuts, whatever you want to take. Pretty much, you can take it in Disney and you can eat it at the parks. You can sit down at the table and eat at the parks. Same with the water. Water there is expensive. You can take bottled water with you. You can take a Camelback with you. You can take a little collapsible cup with you, and take that cup with you, and you can refill it at Disney restaurants. So it's free water. Beats having to pay $6 for a bottle of water. So definitely that's another way to kind of save some money. I would definitely say do that. So next thing I'm going to say, again, if you're going to Disney, and this also kind of pertains to Universal Orlando also, and to a lesser extent, SeaWorld. Universal is just as popular as Disney. Obviously, it's not as big as Disney, but it got the thrill rides. They've got, pretty much whatever you're seeking, food-wise. They got an entertainment district, a city walk, the big roller coasters, if that's your thing. Universal is going to satisfy you to the T. So definitely, if you're going to Universal, a lot of the advice I give for Disney, you can use for same for Universal. They have an app also. So use the Universal app. That also has the wait times. You can order food online. You could do hotel reservations, things like that. Universal has a thing called Express Pass, which lets you kind of bypass the regular standby line. It does add more to your ticket, depending on how much time you have. I wouldn't worry about it. But, if you don't like standing in line, then it's a good thing to have. So that's something that you can buy when you buy your ticket. You can get an express pass with it. Disney has a thing called, and you want to familiarize yourself with this on the Genie app, Disney app. It's called Genie, which is kind of like a butler that takes you through the park. It kind of escorts you through. It tells you the parts that are good to go, that aren't as crowded, restaurants that aren't as crowded. Its whole job is to try to keep traffic flowing through the parks without too much congestion, which will make your day a little easier, a little happier. Then there's a Genie Plus. That's the thing that you'll purchase. Price does vary by day depending upon how busy the park is. But it lets you get on rides, bypass the line, kind of like the Express Pass at Universal. Not at every ride, but certain rides you can bypass the lines. It's a good thing to have also. It's depending upon the park you go to, like Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, it's probably worth the price. Animal Kingdom, Epcot, you probably won't need one really. I would just say, unless you just want one, I would just say, stand in the line. They're not going to be that bad. So again, with Universal, they have 2 parks. They have actually 3 if you consider the water park, Volcano Bay. But the Universal Studios is Islands of Adventure. And Disney has 3 parks, but they also have 2 water parks. So it's Magic Kingdom, which has all your classic Disney rides, like the Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dumbo are all there. The castle is there. There's Animal Kingdom, which if you want to, some people used to call it like a zoo because there are a lot of animals there. You can take a safari that takes you out to look at animals, like you're on an African safari. But it has Pandora from the Avatar movie, which is absolutely beautiful at night. They've got a nice roller coaster called Expedition Everest in the Asia section. There's a dinosaur section, which is going on a renovation right now. And be honest, aside from the dinosaur ride, and it does have a play area for kids. So if your kids need to blow off a little steam, a little energy, that's a perfect place for them. But that's pretty cool. And then there's Epcot that has the World Showcase, which I told you about before, the different lands. But on the other side, it has the new roller coaster, Guardians of the Galaxy. Also has a ride called Test Track. There's a ride called Soarin' over the world. And it is kind of your international place. To be honest, it's probably my favorite park. But it's a great place. And the Hollywood Studios has your Star Wars lands, Galaxy Edge. It also has Toy Story Land. It has a Tower of Terror. It has Rock and Roller Coaster, which I'm hearing is going to be rethemed from Aerosmith to probably Queen. That's just kind of rumors. Right now it's under refurbishment. So that's the rumor that when it pops back up, it's going to feature the band Queen rather than Aerosmith. But we'll wait and see on that. So kind of familiarize yourself with each park. If you're going to try to go to all 4 parks, know what rides are there. Again, know the rides. So if you have kids, you know if they can ride them or not. Also, if people have things like problems with movement, their motion sickness, things like that. Notar rides, especially I would give you a heads up on Mission Space. If you got motion sickness and Dramamine is not going to work for you, that's a ride I would say skip. I do love it, but it gets me sick every time. They have an intense version and a non-intense version. The intense version uses a centrifuge that just spins. It gives you that feeling of weightlessness and also G-force. It will get you. The non-intense ride is not as bad. It doesn't use a centrifuge, but you can still get that feeling of a weightlessness. But again, it's how you feel on a ride, roller coasters, things like that. Definitely take some Dramamine for you if you are prone to motion sickness. If not, then don't worry about it. I'm thinking right now, I don't want to overload you with too much. If you do have any questions, email me, carmode@yahoo.com. The CARRMOAD@yahoo.com. You can check out my website at carmodevacations.com. You can actually book your travel there. You can buy merchandise, but we have videos that will kind of help you out go through the parks. I'm going to constantly start downloading some more things that can help you kind of navigate parks, kind of get you familiar with parks, especially if you're new. It can be a very intimidating place. So I'm going to start putting things out there that kind of help some newbies come out and feel a little more comfortable as they're going to Disney. But in the meantime, again, if you have any questions, email me. Again, hit the subscribe button. We really want to grow our family to be as big as possible. Also, hit the like button on this video if it helped you out. If you like it, if you like things like this, it kind of helps me out and what to put out programming wise. And then also hit the bell notification button so when these new videos do come out, you'll be notified of them. So again, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Please contact me if you have any questions. Please keep watching my videos. God bless you guys. I love you guys. Have a great day.
It looks cool.